What up world, it's your homeboy WordPlay TJ, and I'm back with another video for you. This time around, I'm going to talk about UPC, ISRC codes, and exactly what they are. Stay tuned. So I got a request from one of the commenters that said, can you talk about ISRC codes? And I was like, maybe. It seems like a very easy topic to talk about, but I don't know if it's worth a full video. And then I came up on some other codes that I also need to talk about. So in this video, I'm talking about UPC codes, ISWC codes, ISRC codes, and IPI numbers, and what they all are. So stick around to the end where I talk about ISRC codes and then how you can get all of these codes in order for you to sell your music and make money from your music. The first one in this list is going to be the UPC code. So UPC code is the most familiar of all the codes that we have, and it basically stands for Universal Product Code. It's a code that represents a company's individual product, and every single company has a unique prefix that goes in front of the UPC code. If you've ever been in a retail store and you've picked up an item, looked at the back of it, seen the barcode there, that is a UPC. So contrary to belief, you cannot create a random UPC code. These numbers aren't random. They don't just pick a few numbers out of the blue and then put them on the back of a product. They're assigned, they're issued. And when these numbers are issued, they are issued in batches. So a company signs up to get a GS1, and that serves as their company's prefix. And then they will buy a round of UPCs for specific products. And the more SKUs you have, and a SKU is just a unique item type, the more item types that you have, the more UPCs that you need to buy in order to put on your products. So next up, what is an ISWC code? It's the International Standard Musical Work Code. And this is an international reference number for musical works. These codes must be issued by a local registration agency like ASCAP, BMI, Sound Exchange, etc. And then they are attached to a musical piece of work. These types of works are dramatic musical works, arrangements, adaptations of lyrics, translations of lyrics, excerpts, and medleys. So basically, whenever you change something or make a new recording, it will have a new ISWC code. Whenever you register your music to ASCAP or BMI in the United States, they will assign an ISWC code to you. And there is a unique code for every single work that you publish. Speaking of ASCAP and BMI, what's the next one? The next one is an IPI number, or it's also known as a CAE number. And this is a unique international identification number assigned to songwriters, composers, and music publishers. So if you own the rights to music, then you will be assigned an IPI number. There's an agency that standardizes the delivery of all these IPI numbers, and then they give them to a place like ASCAP or BMI to issue out. So the International Confederation of Societies of Authors and Composers, better known as CISAC, will assign a number to a place like ASCAP, and then they'll assign it to you. An IPI number, I mentioned this before, is also known as the CAE number. And basically that just means composer, author, publisher. And according to TuneCore, this is the same thing as your IPI number. With all of that said, I'm going to get down to the end and I'm going to talk about the very last code that I want to speak on, and that is the ISRC code. And because you have your IPI number, your ISWC number, and your UPC, the ISRC code is the icing to this cake. It is a unique code that is assigned to a piece of music set for commercial release. So that means that the music has been recorded. So every single version of a song that you make, whether it be the clean version, explicit version, the remix, the guitar acoustic version. Every single version will have a different ISRC code. In the United States, there's an agency that tracks all the performance of ISRC codes. It's called the RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America. They track the usage of recordings with ISRC codes, and then they record the sales. And later on, they might issue a gold, platinum, or diamond certification. And then these codes are entered into databases like SoundExchange, ASCAP, and the MLC, where they want to identify who the royalties go to when they're associated with a specific song. And so an ISRC code is like the driver's license for your music. And there's one point that I want to make about ISRC codes. Because musicians don't pay attention to, say, their registrations on ASCAP or BMI, they don't do SoundExchange, they don't do the MLC, they leave a lot of royalties on the table. And in order to claim those royalties, they don't go by the song title or the artist name, because some of those names might overlap and people might have the same name for the same song or the same artist. And therefore, they use the ISRC code to identify where royalties go. So you want to make sure that you register yourself with SoundExchange, a PRO, and a mechanical licensing agency. And the reason why you want to do that is to collect all of your royalties that you're owed. And I have plenty of videos on that. You can look up there in the cards and find it. So the last part of my speech, and I'll get out of here. How can you get your codes, right? So how can I get my codes and where do they come from? So the UPC codes usually come from your digital distribution company. You can also purchase them from the GS1, but it's more complicated. You have to register as a company and then get your company code and then buy a bunch of UPCs and all this other stuff. If you make your major label debut and don't go through a distributor, then yes, do it this way. Otherwise, take it from the distributor. It like costs at minimum $5 in certain places. So how do you get one? You will be assigned a UPC code for your music when it's uploaded to a digital distribution company, or you can just buy a bunch and do that registration through GS1. The ISWC code, you're assigned that by your performing rights organization when you register a new work. The IPI number is dealt out by SISAC, like I said before, and this is also assigned and just kind of passed to you by your performing rights organization. So ASCAP, BMI, CSAC if you're in the United States. And the ISRC code, the last one, is also divvied out by your digital distribution company, and they will give you one every time you make a new song. If you already have a batch of ISRC codes that you purchase from ISRC.org, then you can use your own ISRC code and keep track of your own thing. But make sure you keep track of your catalog, your data, all of your metadata for every single song that you create. It can get a little bit confusing if you're using your own ISRC codes. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I appreciate you watching this video. Please make sure that you watch many of my other videos and make sure that you give this one a thumbs up and share it to somebody that might get something out of it. Until next time, it's your homeboy WordPlay TJ. Peace.